Hello and welcome to Home Park, where this afternoon Argyle will be looking to get back to their winning ways against Wigan Athletic.
Onto his right foot, Ryan Hardy, he finishes!
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Argyle TV. I am Erin Black, and over the next 45 minutes we'll be bigging it up ahead of a massive game here at Home Park. As you can see behind me, the sun is shining. It's a little bit windy today, but the Theatre of Greens is due to be nice and busy for what will hopefully be a very good game in Argyle's favour. We're going to be hearing from Ryan Lowe and Dan Scarr about the need to get back to winning ways following their back-to-back defeats that they've had for the first time this season. Chris Corbett from Argyle Pride will also be joining us to talk about the Rainbow Laces campaign and what that's doing for the LGBTQ+ supporters with matches up and down the country. After that, we will get to know the Argyle women's team a little bit better, and then before that, we're the first in their series of a teammates feature here on Argyle TV. So all of that to come. But right now, we're going to be having a look at the team news in just a minute and building up to the game. And I have with me this afternoon to join me, Brian McGlinchey. Hi, Brian. How are you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Good. Nice to be back on Argyle TV.
I am, yeah.
Coming a nice little regular for us.
For Stoney, am I?
Big game today. How are you feeling ahead of it?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I think it should be a full house tonight. Today, sorry. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Wigan's a really top side, and obviously working off the back of 2 defeats, which is unheard of this season. And I think listening to the manager talking, he's just going to try and put it in perspective. We've had a brilliant run, and they've just got to go out and play their normal game today. And I think if they do that, they'll give Wigan a good game. And he's just looking for personal performances to be at the best they possibly can. And I think if they do that, they should get a result. Do
you think the players will be relishing the challenge of the game ahead today, as well as having a pretty much packed out stadium here?
Yeah, I think the blessing of football is when it doesn't go well, you've got the next game is quite quick, so you can put it right. So I think I heard him say he's lifted the lads in training, got a smile on their faces, and that's important.
Yeah.
And I think they'll go out and they'll try and prove a point. And if they get a win today, they're back up top of the league, really, potentially, because the other 2 teams above them have got really difficult games. So it could be all different story at 5 o'clock tonight.
It has been quite a quick succession of games from their first loss against Charlton to the one we saw on Tuesday to now. Do you think that will help, kind of having them just rolling from one to the next? There's not too much time to dwell, is there?
Nothing worse than having a week of training to think about it and dwell on, as you say.
Yeah.
You'd rather just get out in the football pitch and put it right. And with a full house behind them, I think it's and the way they play, I think it's just getting back to them standards that they've sort of what they've sort of achieved so far this year. So fingers crossed they can deliver.
And I suppose as well, it's a testament to the Green Army that, you know, despite Argyle having 2 losses, which really in the grand scheme of things isn't actually that big of a deal, but they're still coming out in force today to continue that support they've been showing.
And why not? The brand of football's been brilliant this year. It has really good. And if you actually look at the performances, like on Tuesday against Wigan, for 60 minutes they played really well. It just, that clinical edge wasn't there. So and obviously Wickham's tactics near the end of the game were very frustrating. And so it's one of those things you've got to take it on the chin and move on. But looking forward to the game. Yeah.
What were your kind of takeaway points from the game that we saw on Tuesday?
I thought it was typical Wickham, to be honest. Obviously their tactics of trying to disrupt the pattern of play, the game that Argyle want to sort of maintain was not allowed. Fair play, they've done their homework. They stopped Argyle get down the sides and they try to play everything through the middle, which was difficult for them. But that's what teams do now, and that shows the respect that teams are playing Argyle when they're doing their homework and making it difficult. So I think there'll be more to come, because I think Argyle will be in and around that sort of top echelons of the league this year.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. We're going to chat again in a moment when we have a look at the team news. Just to remind you, those of you that are watching today on YouTube or Argyle TV, wherever you're watching, we would love to hear from you, and the best way to get in touch with us is on Twitter. You can find us at only1argyle. Would love to hear your predictions of the match, your feelings ahead of kickoff. Maybe if you're watching from elsewhere in the world, feel free to send us a little picture of you wearing your Argyle kit. Love to have a look at that, and we usually go through those at half-time. Now, Argyle are in an unusual position this season, having to pick themselves up after a couple of defeats that me and Brian have just spoken about. But despite the losses, they're still a pretty happy camp, and Ryan Lowe is hoping it turns around today.
They're all big games, Charles, aren't they? As I say, we respect every team that comes. For us, we just need to make sure we get back on track a little bit in terms of, first and foremost, keeping the back door shut. We've been absolutely superb, up until the last couple of games. But even then, there's the odd error in there that's conceded, and we're in a fantastic position, aren't we? Let's have it right. We're probably overachieving where we thought we'd be in terms of numbers and points. But we've got to keep staying there, keep going, keep working the way we work on the training pitch, and having 27 shots is a big plus for us. We do want to convert some of them. Obviously we can't convert all of them, but on average, if you can convert 2 or 3, then you've got every chance of winning games of football. So look, the lads have disappointed from Tuesday night. Gone now. We got the disappointment out of them yesterday. The bubbly and the smiling will go down training for 11 o'clock, and we'll start planning for Wigan for Saturday afternoon. For large parts of the Charlton game, we were very good. We were very solid, resolute, and then a mistake cost us the first goal, and then you're on the ascent trying to get the second, to get a goal, and then they get the second. And then the other night, for 60 odd minutes, I thought we were superb, but I also thought Wigan was superb in what they done. They defended well, they put bodies on the line, and then again, first goal can be avoided, and then we're on the ascent trying to get back in, and look, that happens. Teams will come and hustle and bustle and throw the ball in, and drops to them, a little bit of luck here, there and everywhere. But what we've got to do on average, we're where we are for a reason. It's because we've been playing some fantastic football, scoring some fantastic goals, keeping the back door shut. We get back to the standards of that, we'll be fine. And as you say, after 20 games to be where we are now is excellent, and we've just got to continue now. I always said, once that you go on a run of winning games or not losing games, and then you've lost 2 on the bounce, it's football. There's worse things happening in the country and in the world. What we've got to do is make sure we've got smiling faces on our lads' faces, which they are. We've got to make sure the sessions are right, and we've got to make sure the game plan's right, which we will, and hopefully the lads can go and take it to fruition.
Is Wigan a kind of perfect game this weekend? Because there'll be another massive crowd, their side.
Yeah, look, Liam's doing a fantastic job in where they've come from. We've got some good players in there, we know, a bit of youth and experience, and they play the right way, and they'll come here looking to win, the same as we're looking to win, and there's no bones about it. They're wanting to win, but they'll want to try and win playing the right way and playing football, and that's fine. So I'm hoping it's an entertaining game, and whoever the best team is on the day will obviously win. We can be the best team, but we know it's going to be a tough encounter, and I'm sure Liam will say the same about us. But what we've got to do, mate, is we've got to worry about us, show Wigan the respect they deserve for how well they're doing and what they're doing and what they've come through to get back out at the other side. And you know, in terms of the club itself, is on the right track now, and yeah, really looking forward to an entertainment game on Saturday and probably a full house again.
Just a final one. Is there any update on Brendan from the other?
No, I went round to the apartment to see him yesterday. Bless him, he was still in his kit. But he's had a scan on it, and then we'll get the results straight away. And then but look, I will say it's an horrible thing. It's not a good injury. It's no ACL, MCLs and stuff like that. But by the looks of things, it's his kneecap, but we can't really diagnose it until we know. It is going to be a long spell out, and people will ask that. The contract we was in contract negotiations with Brendan, and they were going very smoothly, and but what we've got to do now is, as a football club, we'll model look after Brendan, and he will have a future at Argyle, and we will give him the best opportunity to get back fit and firing, because I think he deserves it. And ultimately what we'll do is we'll look after him first and foremost, whatever he has to do, whether it's surgery and recovery, and we'll get him back to where we feel he belongs, playing football. But yeah, look, he was low a little bit yesterday, but we're trying to pick him up with spirits, and I've said, look, don't worry, your future's fine, which I'm sure that gave him a smile, and he's a little bit relieved of that. And now we'll just look to whatever way it is, operation and then recovery, we'll make sure he gets right and ready.
Yes, really sad news about Brendan Galloway there, who we saw suffer from a dislocated kneecap when he went for a chance at goal at the last game. He's going to be quite sorely missed in the Argyle team, so we'll have a slightly different lineup today without him, and we can have a little look at that now. So, starting 11 for Plymouth Argyle this afternoon. Michael Cooper, of course, in goal. We've also got the likes of Macaulay Gillespie, Jordan Houghton, James Wilson, Dan Scarr, Joe Edwards, captain for today, Ryan Hardy, Danny Mayer, Connor Grant, Panucci Kamara, and Luke Jeffcott, with the likes of Ryan Broom, Jordan Garrick, Kieran Agard on the substitutes bench. Brian, what do you make of the team today, and in light of what happened to Brendan Galloway last week?
Yeah, obviously very it's going to be sorely missed. I think Galloway's been a brilliant signing. Whilst it's only a short-term contract he has, I think he's been a real sort of plus to the squad, to be honest. To be fair to Gillespie, he's come in when Galloway's gone on an international duty, and he's done pretty well. He's got a lovely left foot, to be honest, and him and Grant do sort of combine well as Galloway did. So, and to be fair, Gillespie's come in on Tuesday and did well as well. So for me, I don't see it as the biggest of losses in the sense, because Gillespie's a real adequate replacement.
Yeah.
And the only probably thing that I'm thinking is where Broom, he's done brilliant this year and he's on the bench, but what a fantastic sort of option he's got from the bench now to maybe change the game. So yeah, and Danny Mayer did pretty well in midweek, and rightly so, he's probably kept his place. So yeah, so it's probably the lineup you'd probably go for, to be honest.
I mean, Danny Mayer's kind of been waiting to come back for a while now and get back into first team duties, hasn't he? So how are you rating him so far?
Well, he's probably one of the best players in the league on his day, to be honest. I think he's pretty, he's awesome on the ball. He makes things happen. He likes the ball to feet and make things go from there, where Broom likes to run in behind a lot. So they have different qualities. So it's probably a real conundrum for the manager, if I'm honest, to think which one they'll play, which one they'll leave out. But really good options, and that's what competition for places is all about. And yeah, so good options. So hopefully they'll, Mayer will have a good game, and maybe Broom will come on and do something else as well. Yeah. So
I suppose a good conundrum to have as well, to have too many good players to choose from.
Yeah, it definitely does. I guess he's got to just think of the balance in the side, because if you've got too many attacking players, then you're going to leave spaces defensively. So, and one of the things that the manager's talked about is keeping things, the back door shut. He wants to maybe not concede as many goals. Yeah. Conceded 5 in 2 games now. So he's got to keep that balance aside right, and keep managers thinking, opposing managers thinking as well, because say Mayer offers different sort of skill set that maybe Broom does. So managers will have to think if he makes that change really.
Yeah, and if we have a quick look at the league table as well, you'll be able to get an idea of just how big the game today is. Argyle, they're currently in third position, just behind Wycombe Wanderers, who we played on Tuesday, and then just in front of Wigan, who we play today. Wigan, just a point in a place behind us, Brian. How important is that at the moment?
Yeah, big game. Obviously, they've got a couple of games in hand as well, Wigan, I believe. So, yeah, so it's a big test for us today. And if we're going to have any promotion hopes, we've got to try and win our home games and make a statement. And I think teams will look to see how we bounce back. So after 2 defeats, a result today will definitely be a message to the opposing managers that Argyle have got something about them.
Yeah.
The fact that they can take a knock and come back, because you need that resilience throughout the season. Because you're going to always have bad spells or spells where you're not at your best.
Yeah.
And it's all about that resilience of the squad and taking things in perspective. They had a brilliant start. Well, it's not even a start now. They're halfway through it, really. So, yeah. So it's just all about today, and they're focusing on what they can do.
And even with the last 2 matches, Argyle are still more than within touching distance of the top of the table. Anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't even think the manager's even thinking that far ahead. I think he's just thinking about picking up as many 3 points as he possibly can. I think, yes, you look at the table, but I think in earnest, you look at the table with a couple of months to go, and then you assess where you're going, really. But at the moment, I think he's just taking each game as it comes.
Yeah.
I know those cliches are boring for fans, and they don't want to hear that, but genuinely, that's what a footballer has to think like. Because if you get ahead of yourself, it doesn't materialise. And
at this point, is it important that they try and keep themselves at the top of the table, or does that not really matter at this stage in the season?
Yeah, it breeds confidence, yes, but essentially it's performances, and picking up 3 points is the key thing. And they've done that for, all season so far, so I think you just look to try and emulate that again today and put a good performance in, and if they do that, the crowd will get behind them and make it a difficult afternoon for Wigan. Yeah,
and in terms of the confidence that the team has, ideally you don't want to lose 3 in a row, really, do you?
No, exactly, and I think you want to put an end to these defeats as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And that's one of the messages the manager we're given. Each player going out and doing their individual jobs really well, and trust them to do that. And I think if they do that, they will give Wigan a real tough game. Don't get me wrong, Wigan will have a period in this game where they're on top and they're putting pressure on Argyle, but that's what we've got to deal with in these divisions. And it'd be an interesting game. It'd be good to see a reaction today. And I think if they get a real fast start, get the crowd behind them, I think it could be a good afternoon for them. Yeah, I mean, we've got the players coming onto the pitch now, and they're already being met by, a lot of positive feedback from the crowd who have gone down towards the side of the pitch there to give them a clap and a cheer. The next home game is not actually until the 18th of December, so do you think that kind of increases the desire to bring everyone a win today in Plymouth? Yeah, I probably think that's not in the manager's thoughts. I think he just wants to get rid of these 2 defeats, get the back of their mind, and maybe have a real positive weekend, go into training next week with real optimism and real sort of, give these teams plaudits for actually coming back from a difficult period. Yeah. And that will all be in his mind. He won't be thinking of the games coming forward. He won't be thinking of that. He'll be just thinking about today's performance. And each player giving all they've got, really. Yeah, I mean, we know how nice it is when Ryan Lowe comes out and gives a big cheer down to the Devonport end. He'll hopefully look forward to that. Yeah, hopefully. One of the players that's been very important to Argyle this season is Dan Scarr. He has been a vital part of the defence, which in the main has been working really well for the team. He spoke to Charlie Price for Argyle TV to explain just how he's feeling about the side's form.
This game on Saturday will be the 20th of the season, so almost kind of halfway through the season, and it's gone pretty well up to now, hasn't it? Yeah, definitely. I think we've had some good games, and we've been in good form. Obviously, the last couple of games we maybe have dipped slightly, but it's a frustrating one. But we're still in a good position. We're still high up in the table where we want to be, so we'll take that confidence going into the next game, and it's another game at home, which if there was ever a game to put it right on a Saturday at home against a big team, that's the one to do it. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. You mentioned the last couple of games, and obviously 2 defeats is not ideal, but it's also not what we're used to. Yeah. And if you take a step back, and look at the table and think, right, well, we're still near the top. We've only lost 3 games all season after, as I said, 20 matches. You know, at the start of the season, we'd have all taken that.
Yeah, definitely, we'd have all taken it. Obviously, playing Wickham Tuesday, I spoke to some of their lads coming off the pitch at the end of the game, and like the ones that were there when I was there, because there's still a few of them. And they'd just beat us off the back of losing 2, and they were still up in the table, and now they're joint top. So it's one of those, because it's such a good league, this league, anyone can beat anyone. And it's just making sure you knuckle down in training and get the information from the gaffer and the coaching staff, and then putting it and trying to execute the game plan as well as we can.
I think one of the maybe, I'm not going to say shock, but the last couple of games we've conceded 5.
Yeah.
No, we spoke about it.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a bit of a shock, because we've been defending brilliantly this season. I don't know whether you can put a finger on what's gone wrong, or whether it's just a slight difference that's happened in the last couple.
I don't really know. It's obviously there's no one more frustrated than us as a team and as a back unit, because we have been solid for majority of the season, and when you have 2 games back to back like that, it is frustrating. I think the Tuesday game, maybe the way they played and stuff, you just need things to fall to them, and I think it did on the night. I think we could have maybe gone in front the first half, and I think if it was a game where if we went in front first, we could have ended up winning it 2 or 3-0 or whatever, because they would have had to come out, their shape wouldn't have been as good, and they would have had to come and chase us. It was similar to the Accrington game. We had a spell where they pounded us for 20 minutes and stuff, and if anything could have fell to them, it didn't on the day, it fell to us, luckily. And I think sometimes you just don't get the rub of the green, but I think as a defensive unit, we've had a look at the goals over the last couple of games, and we'll work on it, and we'll try and get back to how we were and be solid again.
The important thing is to not get too down about it.
Yeah,
hearing you there and seeing all the guys come in for breakfast before training today, you can see that the mood is still high, and you know it's bound to be because we're doing well. But that's key, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely. We're a good group of lads. We don't get too high, we don't get too low. Of the course of the season, what is the 20th game, we've lost 3 games. It's one of those, you are going to lose games. It's just how you bounce back from, and if we can try and cut out some of the mistakes and be a lot sharper with the ball and in our shape, but I think we'll have a good go. We just need to get back to basics and give it a go. Yeah.
You alluded to it. Perfect opportunity again to do that home tie against Wigan, and I think it's going to be, if not a sellout, very very close to it. So, you know, the enthusiasm is still there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We're always buzzing for a Saturday, even a Tuesday. Some of the attendances on a Tuesday have been phenomenal. It's getting cold, and people are still coming out, and the fans are giving their all for us and stuff like that, and it is really appreciated. But there's nothing better on a Saturday when there's a full home park. So, and we've got a good team coming down. They're going to have a go at us, and it's one of them that they're the teams you want to play. You want to play against the top teams. It's harder sometimes when you play against teams that bank up and sit in, and they try and frustrate you and everything like that. At least we've got a team that they're a good solid side. So it's a good chance for us to test us and see where we are.
Dan Scarr talking there. Now, you're always going to go through toughish spells in whatever kind of league or season you're playing in, Brian. But from what you've seen of the Argyle defence, do you think they can get back to being solid?
Yeah, 100%. I think last year they were calling out for better defensive recruitment, and I think the manager's done that. And I think Scarr, he epitomises what you want from a centre half. Really, any ball comes in the box, he's there and he wins it. He's combative. He's exactly what you want. He's just a really good aerial. He wins his aerial battles, and he keeps it simple. And I think the defensive recruitment has been key to really success, because you're never going to have any promotion push if you don't keep things tight defensively, and then let your attacking players have a chance of winning you the game.
Yeah, it's one of the areas that Ryan Lowe has kind of put a lot of thought into, hasn't he, this season?
Yeah, I think last season he had a lot of on loan players, that youngish players, and. From a communication perspective, I've watched most of the games so far this year, and there's a lot of communication on the pitch, and the 3 centre halves have definitely, they're sort of epitomise what you want. You want them sort of, dictating the play, dictating what the people in front of them need to do, really. So I think yeah, really good signings, and I think they'll get back to where they were. You're going to have difficult spells, as Dan Scarr said.
Yeah, and we heard him talking in the VT there against playing against Wycombe. Is he right when he talks about it being easier to play against a team that plays passing football?
It depends who the team is.
And how well
if it's Barcelona or Manchester City, no. But I guess from his perspective, he probably likes a challenge and someone to maybe battle against. And Vokes, obviously, Tuesday, the goal where he held him off and swiveled him past, he probably thinks he probably could have done better there, but that's just small margins that lead to goals, really. So yeah, when you play against passing teams, you've got to be mentally sharp.
Yeah.
But probably he prefers to play against players he can feel them and touch them and then get close to them, that type of who want a challenge. So I can see his perspective, but I guess it depends who you're playing against.
And on Tuesday in particular, he was playing against Sam Vokes, who's a Wales international. Do you think he will have learned from that experience?
Yeah, I think defensively he did quite well. Up until the goal, I think the ball went into Vokes' feet and Vokes just held him off and let him swivel on his right foot. And you've got to then think about should the ball gone into his feet that easily. So lots of things that happened before Scarr maybe could have done a little bit better, but. Who are we to be critical of Scarr? I think he's done brilliant so far this year, and I think he's been an immense signing, to be honest.
And what would you be doing today if you were in that Argyle back lineup?
Praying, maybe. Because I'm 44 and I feel old, but yeah, I think you just got to play your normal game. I think the lads have shown that they're more than capable of holding their own in this league. So yeah, just trust yourself and just do the right things. And if it's play the percentages, sometimes you've got to knock it long or get rid of it, and you've got to do those things sometimes. So yeah, play what you see and do it. Keep it simple.
Thank you very much, Brian. We'll catch up with you again in a moment. Just to remind those of you who are watching at home, you are watching Argyle TV, and we are building up to this afternoon's game against Wigan Athletic, which will be kicking off at 3 p.m. Still to come before now and kick-off, we're going to get to know the women's team a little bit better than before with their new teammates feature, and have a look at the opposition today as well. Welcome back to Argyle TV. Now, today's game is our dedicated Rainbow Laces fixture, which shows support and shines a spotlight on LGBTQ+ supporters. The players will be wearing rainbow laces on their boots, and probably a little bit easier to see, the corner flags will have a rainbow pattern on them as well. And we're really proud to be supporting that campaign here at Plymouth Argyle. Now, joining me to talk a little bit more about it is Chris Corbett from Argyle Pride. Hi Chris, how are you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. How important is this kind of campaign in raising awareness, especially with the campaign like Rainbow Laces?
So Rainbow Laces is basically it's for any kind of sport. Obviously, it's not just football, but from grassroots all the way up to the Premier League, Major League Baseball, American football, anything. It's all about giving a voice to the fans, keeping the LGBT fans especially, obviously, keeping them in the loop, making them feel safe at places like Home Park, and that's obviously what we do at Argyle Pride as well.
Yeah. What have you found it's like for LGBTQ supporters coming into like football environments like this?
So for myself, luckily I haven't had to deal with that. I know our founder Tom has dealt with a few issues at Northampton, I think it was. I personally think Argyle is a pretty good club to deal with these things.
Yeah.
We've acted quite quickly when we've had issues. Obviously, like a couple of weeks ago at Accrington, we did have to deal with an incident with some of the fans behind Mike Cooper. But generally I think we're a good club about it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that in particular, for anyone that wasn't already aware, Mike Cooper put on social media a few comments against the Accrington supporters, calling out the homophobic chants that he heard from behind the goal line. What did you make of that?
Well, firstly, just a massive thank you to Mike for doing that. I reached out to him after the match as well. We had a good chat about it. To have, the people on the pitch calling it out, it means the world to us, really. It's one thing me standing here and saying this needs to be done, that needs to be done. But if it's done by the team you support, the people who are doing it week in, week out, it just means, 10 times more than it needs to.
Do you think more players and coaches need to be kind of not promoting that activity more kind of online and speaking about it, not just in Argyle but in football clubs in general?
Yeah, if it's just one member of staff or one player doing it every so often, it's not going to get the reaction it needs. We've seen it in a few league matches, abroad, where players have actually stopped matches, gone to the referee to point these things out. The more people who do it, the quicker the message will spread, the more awareness we'll have, and hopefully the better things we'll get.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously quite difficult for you individually because you're only based in one portion of the stadium here, but how prevalent would you say that kind of behaviour is around football in this country? I
think for me, not so bad. I can let things roll off my back quite easily. I tend to think about the fans that are maybe questioning themselves, especially younger fans, if they're not too sure on themselves. If they want to come here and enjoy football, but the first thing they hear is slurs and everything, it's just going to really drain them. It's going to want them not to come here, and that's it's completely opposite. We need to think of we're in a very fragile world, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
That you can't you upset some people, you can't keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
You need to just stop and think, and some people don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I suppose there's kind of an outdated stigma that maybe members of the LGBTQ community and football don't really go together, but that's not the case, is it? You can be who you are and enjoy whatever sport or activity it is. Yeah,
and obviously just recently we had the Adelaide player in Australia. He just came out as gay. It's just proof that you can come out, you'll get the support you need. I don't want to guarantee it, but I'm pretty happy there'll be a large portion of fans here that would get behind one of our players if they did come out.
Yeah.
So, it's a long fight, but we're getting there.
And how pleasing is it for you to see the kind of support that the campaign like Rainbow Laces is getting?
It's brilliant. I was looking at some of the stats this morning. Over 1 million people have used Rainbow Laces to lace up. The players today, officials, we've got the obviously captain's armband, everything. It's a widespread picture which is raising awareness, and it's nice and visual, so it's brilliant that the club will do this. Yeah,
it is an absolutely fantastic cause. So more away from that and onto the football in particular, what have you made of Argyle's play so far this season?
Well, if you'd asked me that last season, I would have been a bit sceptical. But I think we've done really well. I know I've seen the comments online, everything like that, about losing 2 in a row, and it's just we can't be perfect, we can't win everything, but I'm happy. Everybody should be happy. Where we're going to finish up, we don't know, but just support us while we're going along. Go for it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Really appreciate having you with us this afternoon. Now, if you want to read more about the Rainbow Laces campaign, then you can go over to pafc.co.uk, and we've got a whole section on there to find out more. Now, a quick look at some of the news going on around the club at the moment, and the very popular Christmas Carol concert returns this year. Of course, we would have had the concert last year due to COVID. It didn't take place. So Wednesday, the 15th of December, we will be hosting it once again right here at Home Park. Club chaplain Arthur Good will be leading the proceedings, and there will be plenty of signing, some readings from men and women's players, and of course, very importantly, some mulled wine and mince pies. Doors will open for that 6:30 for a 7 p.m. start. Also to mention, tickets for our Emirates FA Cup tie with Rochdale are now on sale for flexi ticket holders and Big Green Lottery members. Any remaining tickets will go on general sale from Monday. We take on Rochdale at the Crown Oil Arena on Sunday, the 6th of December, for a 12:15 kickoff. Now, talking of the FA Cup, the women are in cup action this weekend. They play St Austell in the second round tomorrow, and here is Ryan Perks to talk more about it.
So Ryan, looking forward to St Austell on the weekend. How's training gone this week?
Yeah, so again, like normal, the girls apply themselves fantastically throughout training. We worked on some technical stuff last night in training, and tonight we've worked on some shape. Looking forward to going into the game on Sunday. Yeah, like you say, it's nice to have a full squad back, and looking forward to playing again in the FA Cup.
As you mentioned there, we're back in FA Cup action. How much are you and the team looking forward to playing in that competition?
Yeah, it gives us a break from league action, and again, it's nice to get a bit of prize money if we progress, and beauty of the FA Cup, everyone loves the FA Cup game, so hopefully we can get the result on Sunday and keep progressing in the Cup.
And looking at St Austell, what are you kind of expecting from them?
So St Austell have had a very good start to their league season. Obviously, they're a couple of leagues below us, but they're unbeaten. They've played 6, won 5 and drew 1. Scored plenty of goals and not really conceded many, so we know they're going to be up for it. They're going to want to come and cause a cup upset, so we've just got to keep our eye on their strong players. Charlotte Whitmore up front is going to be a threat, so we've got to make sure we play to the best of our ability to get the result we're looking for.
Kick-off for that is at 1 p.m. at the Madden Sports Hub tomorrow afternoon, and you can watch the game for as little as £3, so do go along and support the girls. Sticking with the women's team now, shall we get to know them a little bit better? I think that sounds like a good idea. So here is the first of their teammate series.
Oh, it's got to be. Oh, is it? It's between us three, so I'm probably going to say me.
Yeah, Zoe. No, I'd say Zoe. I agree. Yeah.
If not, it would be Gabby.
Gabby, yeah.
Yeah. You're pretty solid, Rosie.
Thanks.
She's got big guns.
She's got big quads.
Oh, definitely me. Don't even lie.
I
would say Gabby.
I feel like your limbs. We've got to do it out of us three. Your limbs just. I don't even know what you do.
No.
I mean, you're drunk when you dance, so.
Exactly.
Beth.
Yeah. Agreed. It's not fair. We haven't seen Rosie dance, so.
Yeah, to be fair. Come on, give us a move.
Stand up.
Everyone hates my music, so it's definitely not me.
But you're the DJ.
You are a DJ though, so it's gonna have to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
80s. Rosie doesn't know who Blue is. Or S Club 7.
Neither do I.
I don't. Seriously?
No, never.
Seriously.
I reckon Beth.
Yeah.
No. Well. That's quite a hard one.
Yeah.
I see Rosie wearing like a suit, like a woman's suit walking through. Can you not see that?
What, so you think Rosie can put off a suit so she'll be a good manager?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I
don't know.
One of you two.
Do you think?
I'm not very quick.
Probably Rosie. No. I'm saying Beth.
Definitely not mentally quick.
No.
What are you? I'll go Rosie.
Yeah, let's go Rosie.
I'm pretty messy.
Yeah, I'd probably say you.
I do get all over the place a bit, yeah.
You're all over the place anyway.
You're always late.
I'm not always late.
You're late a lot.
No, sometimes I'm really early though, so it counteracts. No.
That's not how it works. I'm gonna say Beth.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Bit of confidence.
That's why she's so skint.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Rosie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Kickoff is now 20 minutes away, and after this, we'll be taking a closer look at Wigan Athletic. So on to Wigan, and they are only a point and a place behind Argyle in the league. They have a couple of games in hand, but they had to come from behind to get a draw with Cambridge United on Tuesday night. Here is the best of that action. Let's talk to Brian now as the Wigan team comes up on your screen. Brian, what have you made of Wigan so far?
Yeah, they've got quality players throughout the team. You know, a few come to mention. Obviously, McLean comes from Ireland, same hometown as me. But yeah, played in the Premiership for Sunderland. Really good winger. He'll be a difficult customer for Joe Edwards to handle today. You look at Max Power, second spell at the club. He went to Sunderland to come back, and he's got promotion through both those clubs. So yeah, he's a quality player. And Keane as well. He plays off the front. He's got good pedigree as well. But to be honest, they haven't got any weak players as such. They're all quality players, and so have Argyle. So it's all about what Argyle do today for me. And
there's no Charlie White because he collapsed during training. So of course we wish him a speedy recovery. But they've got a lot of quality elsewhere in the team, haven't they, to make up for that? Yeah, they have.
They've sort of been in the championship, haven't they? They've come down, and they've got good pedigree throughout the squad. So yeah, obviously going to be a big miss. White out. He's a prolific striker in these leagues. So but there'll be people who will step up and I guess the Argyle lads will be well briefed on what they can do, and it's all about what Argyle do for me.
Yeah. How do you think Argyle will be able to get the points today?
For me, the last couple of games, the wing backs haven't been as influential. I think they'll look to get the ball wide as best they possibly can. And it'll be interesting to see how Wigan sort of, so how do they come? Do they actually match Argyle's formation, or do they do something different?
Yeah.
So for me, it's how Argyle get the ball wide, and if they can get the ball in the box, I think we know we've got two good strikers that can get on the end of things. So. Yeah. For me, that's the key.
Do you think a win is realistic, or are we maybe looking at a draw? I mean, we're never going to say we're going to lose. So win or draw, how are you feeling about what might play out?
Well, 100%. You've got to go for a win.
Yeah.
You're home. You're above Wigan in the league. You've demonstrated you can win games. So, yeah, 100%. It's full of confidence, and let's be aggressive and go and get the 3 points.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed for a turnaround this afternoon. Brian, you're going to be commentating the match with Rob over on the other side of the stadium, so we will leave you to get over there and get on with that. Thank you very much for joining us. While Brian goes over to the other side of the stadium to get ready, let's have a quick look at some of the other games that are happening in Sky Bet League One this afternoon. There are a few to go through, so starting off we have AFC Wimbledon versus Fleetwood, Bolton versus Cheltenham, Burton versus Doncaster, Cambridge versus Sunderland, Gillingham versus Portsmouth, Lincoln versus Accrington, Morecambe versus MK Dons, Oxford versus Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday versus Wickham, Shrewsbury versus Charlton, and Ipswich against Crewe will be played on Sunday. And we will keep you updated with all of those fixtures as they play out over the course of the afternoon. So join me back here at halftime for your update. Just before we hand you over to Rob and Brian for commentary of the game, just want to remind you that we are delighted to have teamed up with the online food order and delivery service Uber Eats for this 21-22 campaign. They're joining the club as an affiliate partner, so Uber Eats will sponsor all of our pre-match quiz, which you can find on the official Argyle app if you haven't seen it already. They will also be sponsoring the brand new Moment of the Month feature, which is on the club's social media channels as well as Argyle TV. To kick off that partnership, you as an Argyle fan can download the app and you will receive £10 off your first order if you spend a minimum of £15. All you got to do is use the code Argyle10 when ordering. Right, we're almost ready to go. One more thing to mention, there will be a 1 minute silence just before kick-off this afternoon in memory of Bobby Ann McLeod, who tragically lost her life this week in Plymouth after going missing last weekend. So our thoughts are very much with her family and friends at this time, and the Argyle community will be paying her respects with a 1 minute silence before the game. A reminder, if you're watching the game abroad or on Argyle TV, make sure you get the match pass so you can have a little look at it if you're outside the UK. And if you are in the UK, audio commentary from Rob and Brian will be available for you on pafc.co.uk. It's Argyle against Wigan Athletic, 3 p.m. kickoff. Enjoy.